as possible. Let's just go look at this again. Alright guys, so this is going to be game number 1 of this best of 7 series. Spawning in our top left position, it is the yellow Zerg player from Mook Gaming. It is Solo. Let me turn off the music. And spawning in the bottom right position from 1F Pro is NethuNa. I'm just going to call him Net. He knew. Neth. I'm just going to call him Neth. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone showing me the support and the new follows, hosts, all that great stuff. You guys are super appreciated so much. So far, nothing too out of the ordinary from either players. Looks like it's a pretty standard build. These kind of matchups are very interesting where whoever wins stays and whoever loses is out and cannot compete any longer. So with any going, quick scout. Doesn't get it right away, as we saw. They went down to the bottom left first, but no big deal. Solo doesn't have any kind of scouting going on, but he doesn't really need it, especially on this big map on this, as long as he doesn't see the proxies that he thinks he's going to see, and that's kind of basically what he's worried about at the moment. Again, nothing too out of the ordinary for either players. Very typical opening right here from Neth. Playing it safe, just kind of going 2 bases with that command. We'll see what Neth tries to do over here. Maybe he's checking to see if he's going 3 bases. Sees it is 2 minutes in, so a 3rd base at this time might be kind of, too extreme. But we have seen players do it around 3 minutes. Snoop really likes to take 3 hats at 3 minutes, basically. But it looks like they're going to take this base, and Neth definitely didn't scout that at all, at least not the first time he came in. So he's not going to see that, at least not right away. And still, nothing from Solo. Solo just goes, okay, I know where you are now, basically. Based off all his different little Skypes. Would you see the speed upgrade is going to finish for Solo? It's definitely going to help him majorly on such a huge map, kind of taking care of any kind of drops that might come in the War Prism that'll be running across the map. Here comes an add-up, the 1v1 against the Zealot. Wasn't much of a 1v1. And behind here, we do see that the Twilight Council and the robotics facility is going to finishing up for Neth. We'll see what he decides to do with that. Decides to do with this upgrade here. If he decides to go for the upgrade, or if he's going to go for Blink Stalkers with this robotic facility, we can only assume that he will start getting Warp Prism out and start harassing like that. And there we go. That's the build we were looking for. Neth goes for that DT. Kind of puts it right here in the front. And it's going to stop any kind of overlord that's going to come in. That's what the Stalker is doing. It's going to stop this overlord coming in from the north. But here we see coming in from the west side that Solo's going to see a couple things, but not going to see that Dark Shrine. At least probably not at the start. And here comes War Prism. We'll see what Neth decides to do from it with this War Prism. We have seen before Dark Templars coming into play, and then from behind that, what they do is they turn into Archons and harasses with like double Archon play, which gets kind of interesting when you think about it. So Warp Prism just now finishing here is going to go across the map. It's probably going to pick up nothing. Listen. Here comes Solo's almost was in a great spot to spot that, but unfortunately completely misses that warping or the Warp Prism that's going across the map. This Overlord here for Solo is going to be in a great position. He's going to see anything that moves right past, and we'll see what happens with that. A couple of the Lings. It's going to do some damage. It's kind of poking around. We do see a lot of roaches and an Overseer with Solo's army. So these DTs that are about to come may not do as much damage as they originally would want. Here comes the Warpin. 4 DTs in here. And it's going to float right over to Solo's third base. So Spore Crawler is getting put down from Solo. And here comes the Warpin. Warpin's going to go right past Solo. So Solo's going to see this. I mean, he sees it. It's in the base. He's going to see that there are DTs, and they're going to focus down that Queen. And now they're going to do so much damage. They're actually going to focus down the lair first, and this is going to be so pivotal if he gets this taken care of. He's got only a couple more hits left. Looks like he's going to sacrifice him. Oh, and he picks him up and takes him away. So good job with the Overseer, but I mean, he's focused down that lair. We'll see what happens with this War Prism. War Prism comes down. It looks like he's just trying to bounce around in between them. But there's Overseer still with this. And of course, and a Ravager Cocoon goes down, and just Overlord being super annoying. War Prisms here, dropping the DTs off, and I believe they're going to turn them into Archons. There we go. And the huge army from Solo going across the map. At the same time, another warp. Warp Prism going in with the Archons. The Archons are going to be jumping around with these roaches. They're going to do so much damage. These roaches cannot do enough damage to it. But here's a huge Ravager and Ling army for this. Pylon Overcharge goes down. Corrosive Bile lands on top of the army, getting a couple of the Zealots. But it kind of split this army up. Neth's army is right here at the third base. Another Pylon Overcharge goes down. Corrosive Bile lands on top of the Mothership Core. Mothership Core gets taken out, and that's no more Pylon Overcharges for Neth. Neth is going to be completely powerless against this Corrosive Bile landing on top of the army, hitting a little of the Zealots, but not doing that much damage. These Immortals are going to be kind of the saving grace for Neth's army. And we do see that the Warp Prism either got taken out. I'm not too sure where it's at. I lost it in the melee of the ongoing fight that's down here. But Neth, he's staying with this third base. He's not going to cancel it. One of the Immortals does get, unfortunately gets taken down with little to no effort. Here comes another attack. Archons are doing so much damage out here in the back. They're about to get picked up. Warp Prism comes in, is going to pick it up and drop it off here at the top again. And just doing so much damage, doing back and forth damage. Another attack coming in. Mothership Core doesn't look like the Mothership Core is with this army. There it goes. Here comes the Mothership Core. Corrosive Bile lands on top of the Cybernetics Core, and that's it. Unfortunately, no more Mothership Core if this army gets taken out. Solo drops the Corrosive Biles, missing the army entirely. However, Solo's been doing such a great job at deflecting them and pushing this army back. It looks like he's going to go into the north side of this army, and that Archon's is doing so much damage. I wonder how much damage it's done. Don't land there. You're not going to have a good time if you do. And here, more raccoons. Wow. More Ravagers in this cocoon. I have to make sure that... Oops. I might have to fix that later. Another huge engagement coming down from Neth. Neth looks like he's just trying to concave the army just a little bit more, but it just looks like Root Gaming has just so much here. Pylon Overcharge is going down for Neth, but that Pylon does get taken out. And last little bit of the Stalkers are here on the north side and the east side of this army. And it looks like Solo got his army split up just a little bit and is too busy focusing down these last four of the Stalkers that are blinking away. And it looks like Neth is just able to hold it just a little bit longer and keep this third base up. And Solo's got a decent-sized army here, but it just doesn't look like it's that much. The Hydralisks here going to pick off the last little bit of the Stalkers. And two more Archons are here just doing so much damage to these bases. But it looks like... Here comes another huge attack. Hydralisks are now with this army, and they're going to focus down that Mothership Core. Corrosive Bile's landing, dealing a little bit of damage to that Stalker, but just not enough damage is going on. And it's forcing Solo to pull back yet again. And where is the Archon? Archons are here doing a lot of damage to these roaches. Warp Prism's doing everything they can to pick them up and drop them, pick them up and drop them to save that shield. And it's just forcing this army completely back. And here comes a lot of Hydralisks here now. going to pop out for Solo. And here comes another big attack from Solo, landing on top of Neth's third base. Though it looks like they're going to try to take it down. If Neth throws his base, it's going to be game over. Solo's on fourth base, of course. A battle landing takes out the mothership core, and I just think this is just going to be too much for Solo, or it's going to be too much for Neth to handle. And GG well play gets called, and Solo takes game number 1, bringing the lead 1-0 for Root Gaming. What a fantastic play from both players. But we saw Solo was just super aggressive and just poked in a little bit with his Ravagers, poked in a little bit with his Roaches, and then pulled back. Sniped the mothership core, sniped the Cybernetics core, which was a major point, stopped a lot of the production, sniped a lot of pylons, which kind of supply capped Neth. Unfortunately, as we see in the graph here, I don't know if you guys can see it, Neth was supply capped for about 40 seconds, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but even if it's 2 seconds or 3 seconds at a time, you can't build units in that time for the obvious reason, and so it's just, that's a lot of that's a huge supply cap difference. So Root takes game number 1 in the Dust League series in season 4. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. You guys are awesome.